Okay, this is actually the third take on the video to help you guys out on that very first learning activity. So, uh, you're gonna find it under modules. It should be under. I want to say it's module one, week one. Make double sure, but yeah, week one, module one. Okay, and so it's gonna be network learning activity one. Now, uh, we really got to make sure this first lab set up right. We have everything we need because it affects every lab from here on out. So the first thing we really got to make sure of is that we can get into Cisco Networking Academy. Now, of course, if you guys have already taken CPMT 1305, you should be okay. And if you haven't, what you do is just email me, and I'll set you up a fake. Well, I shouldn't say a fake account. It's a real account to Netacad, and I'll put you in this Network Plus Introduction Packet Tracer. Now, this is not part of the course, so please don't be like, hey, I got to finish all these assignments too. You don't. It's just to get you into what we call um, Cisco Packet Tracer. And so basically, I'll put your name down, and it'll send you an invitation through your school email, and then you can register, and that way you can use the packet tracer program on your home computer, or if you need to, if you got to download it somewhere else, just so you can use it. But again, I must say that this introduction to packet tracer is just a course made up to help you get into Netacad. It's not meant to be taken. You can take it if you want to. I mean, if you want to just I mean, you can get a certification, I think, in it. I'm not really sure exactly how it works, but or at least you get some training. Okay. Anyways, let's get back to the learning activity. So one of the things you're gonna notice is there's always usually on the learning activities there's always a couple of things you need. One of the big things, of course, is instructions. I'm not 100% sure what this one right here is for. Um, but what you need to do is just go ahead and look for the packet tracer instructions. And I would suggest if you're going to do this at home, you might want to have two computers, one that you're working on and one that you're looking at the instructions. So the packet tracer program will be on the one you're working on, and the instructions could be a iPad, or it could be a Chromebook, it could be something, anything that can open up a PDF. So what I would do is, of course, download it, put it on desktop or something, and we'll come back to that in just a second. Then the next thing we're going to do is this thing right here. Sometimes you, excuse me, sometimes you're going to get something called a packet or a PKT file. When I say PKT file, it's like a JPEG file, like a DOCX file, or a PPTX file. They're different files. So this one's a PKT file, and we're going to need those files turned in to Canvas so I can grade them. So, anyways, what I'm going to do is click it. It's going to take me to this other screen. As you can see right here is this PKT file. I'm going to download that as well, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Um, Now, remember that you have to download Packet Tracer before you can actually open up a PKT file. So the very first thing I have to do is make sure that I'm in Netacad. Once I get to Netacad, I'm going to make sure that I go to Resources, and then I'm going to go to Packet Tracer Resources. Now, there are instructions on Canvas, but I'm going to go ahead and walk through it right now. Um, it says right here, Packet Tracer Download on the Packet Tracer Resources page. I'm going to click that. Now, make sure you pick the right one. There's a 64-bit and there's a 32-bit if you have a Windows computer at home. Also, there is a one for Mac if you want to download that one if you're working on a Mac operating system. Um, okay, so once you load it up into your system, you should get something that looks like. I have to bring it over. I've double clicked it. I should open it right now. Um, Sorry, it's taking a few minutes. Hmm. Well, for some reason it's not opening. I'm not sure why. Well, sometimes my computer does run slow, so you can see it right here. It popped up, and now I got like two or three of them opening up. Let me go ahead and close one of them. Oh, I'm opening a whole bunch of them. Hold on. Let me see if I can get down just to one. Remember, don't be like me. Be patient with the program because sometimes it does take a little while to get it going. Um, oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me. I didn't think I clicked it that many times. I don't want to stop the video. Well, actually, I guess I could stop the video, but let me see. Let me pause it for a second just to catch. Okay, I think I finally figured got it down to one. So normally you're gonna see something like looks like this, but on this one right here, we're gonna go to. It's gonna take us to a page where we can sign in with our Netiquette credentials. Um, that's after we download it and everything. So what you're gonna do? They might ask you like two or three times, or two times at least, to put your credentials in there. Remember, try not to forget it. But if you happen to forget, just do a forgot my password, and I'll send it to your email. Um, so once I do all of that, this is going to open. Now you can do a couple of things. Now that you've downloaded it, you can open it, or you can go find the file on the desktop and double click it. But I'm going to go ahead and open it. So I know I saved it on my desktop, and this is the one we're going to work on. So I'm going to click it and I'll open it. And now it's going to give me this kind of shell. Now, if you downloaded the instructions, you should be able to look at them. This is where having two two um, two different computers helps out a lot because you can read the instructions here and then actually do it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I have another computer and I'm going to stick the. Well, let me see. Let me see if there's anything I need to tell you before you start. One of the things I do want to mention real quick, and I think I've said it in classes. Remember, the Cisco, educational program really is a step-by-step process. So what you see in our labs are going to basically be true for CCNA 1, CCNA 2, CCNA 3. So the way they teach it is you do the labs and the professor basically helps you out. So just make sure you understand, we're not going to walk through the labs. I'm going to use these videos as support in case you happen to miss a class or something or you really do need just some practice. So I'm going to go ahead and act like I have another computer and I'm going to pull it to my other screen that you can't see. And I'm going to maximize this. Now, on the instructions, it says, the background and the scenario. You can read that on your own. It says double click the PKT file. I already did that. So what I'm looking at I'm looking at step 2. It says learn how to deploy devices. The first thing you need to do is you need to look at the different type of devices they have here. And of course, depending on what you're picking, like this is network devices, this is your routers, your switches, your end devices, your components, your connectors, so on and so forth. You can get familiar with that. So what we're looking for according to the instructions, you're looking for two 2960 switches. So the way they describe it, you kind of look right here on switches, you click it, and you see 229. Now, as you bring it up, you're going to notice that the words, if you let it go, easily come over it. So remember, this is a shell, so you want to get rid of it. Best thing to do is just like a word processor, select it and get rid of it. Now, that's one. Now I need to bring another one in, and if I want to get rid of the words on this, I click there and select, and then backspace and delete. And I'm going to put two switches like this. Remember, that's where the words are, so that's why I want to try to make it the same. Now it says you need to select. See, hold on. End device category. So I'm going to come down here, look for end devices. I'm going to look for PCs. I'm going to bring them up here. Now this one I'm probably not going to delete, just because it's pretty easy for me to just stick them like that on top. It'd probably be better in the future if you do delete them. You know, you'll have more time than I do right now. I'm just trying to get through this first video so y'all can, finish the assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and click everything up here. I'm pulling, the computers into their proper area. And now what it says is you will use the cable connectors. The type of connector you will use between the PCs and the switch is going to be a copper straight through cable. So the copper straight through cable, if I go to connections, I'll click it and I'll start hovering over them. So console, copper straight through, there you go, that's it. And so I'm going to click it, and then on the instructions it says when I click the PC, I put it into faster and Ethernet. I bring it over here and I'm going to select 1, and that's according to the instructions. And you can see there it's trying to communicate. Once this thing turns into a triangle, then they're communicating with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and real quick put them together. Now if you notice that it says 02, I'll try to explain it later, but it's really significant because if we were doing it in real life, we would be taking out some ports on the back of the or in the front of the switch. So this is connecting all 3 of those. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Go faster Ethernet 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Now the thing is, the last thing it says select copper crossover cable and click on switch 0 and pick gigabit 01 interface near the bottom of the list. Then point at the the switch 1 and put in the same interface. So now it wants me to use this thing called a copper crossover wire, which is right next to the straight through. I'm going to click it here, and it said gigabit Ethernet 01 to gigabit Ethernet 01. And now they're connected, they're working. And at the end of the thing, you should get a signal. I'm going to wait until it all shows up, and then I'll be done. Now this is the first lab. I'm going to show you a couple things more, and then I'll be done with this video. I know this video is actually longer than it should be, but it's a lot of information for the first time you use the packet tracer program. Okay, looks like everything's working. Took a little while. Looks like we've been working about 6 minutes or so. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and you see right here it says PKT. Don't change it and don't type anything. Just let it go. And then you can, if you want to, you can put your last name on it or whatever. But wherever you turn it in on Canvas will basically show up on your stuff. So I'm going to put it on the desktop for this, and I'm going to punch Save. And it says it's going to overwrite the one that's already there. So I'm going to punch Yes, that's fine. And now it's ready to go. And you can do 2 things. You can click it and punch Yes, just to be sure. And then I'm going to go over here to where it needs to be turned in. And for you guys, it's a little bit different than me. So you're going to punch Start Assignment. Then you're going to upload the file from the desktop, and then you're going to turn it in. And that should be the end of the activity.